he... let's see, 46. Okay. Well, I don't think it matters in the role. He's doing this utterly voluntarily. Yeah, he's going to basically the shadow will flow into him and lock down his soul in its service, and his will is gone, subsumed in the shadow of Bukrai.
Okay.
And you basically now have kind of a stunned looking servitor.
I was going to ask him for advice.
He's basically can't take it anymore. No. He's given up and is just consigning himself to the shadow.
Whoops.
Yeah. Island is is horrified.
Yeah.
Father, and looks at you with and even says something like, "Please, like, don't touch me, please."
No. I won't touch him.
You thought about it?
Yes. Short minute. Do I feel any different?
Probably.
Yeah, I shouldn't I?
Mm-hmm. No, it's a good question. There's a certain event that should, when it occurs, I'll let you know exactly. Yep. I'll let you know exactly what is different.
Yeah.
But at the moment, you're not sure.
No. Does Hivrik listen to commands if I tell him to, like...
That's a good question. What is the story of these guys?
Yeah, he's just standing around now.
Mindless puppet.
Yeah.
Oh, I did have a Harnmaster region.
Wow, is it really that easy? Oh. Seems kind of shocking. Well, yeah, he dies.
Okay.
No, but he dies and continues to stand there looking at you.
But he's all blank now, I guess.
Blankly.
Yeah.
Sort of shuffles a little bit, walks around randomly a bit.
Yeah. So where do I put him now? Time to fill up the basement, I guess. Yeah.
Monsters everywhere.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. So, but he can't be standing out here in the sun, I guess. So try and lead him away, I guess. Mm-hmm. And I still don't really realize what's happening, I guess.
Right. Aled basically says, "I'll
take care of him."
No, it's more of he's saying, "I'll tell the others," and kind of like bows his head a couple of times to you, and
then
starts.
Then I'll just walk into the sanctum.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's my place now.
Oh yeah. Well, the Temple of Morgoth is not very impressive in this place, although it does have a shrine of a kind in a particular building. And let's see what this says about it, if anything. I didn't bring the great big religion book, and I'm still not sure I'm going to obey everything in it. No. But but they are not into decorations. They're not into great big fancy displays. And the holiest place is more like an accountant's desk where clients, little requests are handled and payment is carefully, for a chaos church, they seem to take accounting very seriously. Mm-hmm. So therefore, you might actually, I've gone into their special secret.
Yeah. It's just books.
It's just like,
just a ledger.
Just ledgers and stuff. So in a few, it's almost like the sacrifice knives and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they're just in a drawer.
Yeah.
Right. Sure, they have their ritual clothes and stuff, but they're in a closet.
Yeah. Mm. Yeah.
It's an office.
Yeah, exactly.
More or less,
It is. Right. Yeah. So that's kind of what you're going to be discovering there. But at the moment, you're you realize there's this sort of obedient corpse, sort of somewhat uncertainly following you about,
it's a bit annoying. Why did you do that? I really could have used your help, Average. I need some guidance. Are there any more senior,
you'll be able to find a more intermediate.
Yeah, because I'm really going to need some advice on how to handle this.
Okay.
I'm not that insane.
No, yeah, that's true. And so therefore, let's start looking for a name and people that you might want to talk to. Sure, why not? Sort of starting to run out of names here. I had a whole lot, but we used a whole lot. Sure, why not? Tesney. A woman, one of these people who's ever so helpful and makes sure that everybody, gets their needs met and taken care of, and is regarded as a bit of a busybody around the neighborhood, but is ever so helpful.
Yeah.
And she's always been ever so helpful to Islawit too. And there's a reason.
Okay.
So at one point while you're kind of poking around, being confused by ledgers that you can't read well, and trying to figure out what does one do when one runs a chapter of Morgoth.
Yeah.
She'll poke in her, her somewhat, I guess, I'm trying to describe. Her neither particularly plain nor particularly pretty, this utterly ordinary, lady, with some sort of utterly ordinary calling, like baking or something like that, is going to pop in her head and say fearlessly, with no reaction to what's left of Ivric, and say, "You need a little help, honey?"
Yes. I'm suddenly 11 years old again. Yes. I need help.
Exactly. Okay. Well, so she will start basically telling you that this is what we do, and it's strikingly boring.
Yeah.
So let's see here. She does say there seems to be a little bit of a problem, but this can work in our favor. She said, "I've already cleaned up the mess, and delivered the remains to the constable's men, because the Liat Kver are getting a little bit of a spanking today." And so this can feed directly into that and help restore the trust, which I'm afraid has been strained with the constable in recent events. And it's my job to I'll make sure that none of us suffers from those events. Just let me know what you have in mind to do, and I'll make sure it goes well.
Okay.
On her way out, she says, "If you get any ideas about what you might want to do, or just run it past me first."
Sensible. Very sensible.
It's the first thing on her mind. No more Fergal improvisation.
Maybe I could ask her for if she has some knowledge in alchemy, because I have this strange bottle.
You do?
Right.
Well, it's such a shame. There is that fellow, that alchemist, who was in town just a few days ago, and went off
Don't
The marshes
don't-
are with
don't-
you.
don't mention him at the moment.
So it would be a bad idea for me to go traipsing about town asking any number of herbalists and
I think we should-
brewmasters about what might be in here. That wouldn't be a good idea for
you should ask one of them that we trust. Really trust. I mean, super trust. Some we've been using before. Maybe not even local.
This may take a little more time.
No worries. I have a lot to study, so a lot to learn.
May I?
Look at it.
She wants to take it.
Yeah, nah.
Strangely, she's always maintaining about 3 meters from you. And she kind of sighs a little and says, all right, well, you just keep that nice and quiet.
Mm-hmm. I plan to.
Let me check a couple of more notes here. One thing that is sort of interesting, are you still carrying injuries at all?
Yeah, I still have my thorax injury. 7 points.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bruise.
Don't mark the wound as gone,
Okay.
but it doesn't hurt anymore
Okay.
at all.
Okay.
So you can take away those injuries.
Yeah, but the wound is still...
No, it is absolutely not healed,
No.
but it has no effect on
Okay.
it. That bruise now, that discoloration,
Like permanent, I guess.
That's permanent.
Yeah. It's death becomes her situation.
kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, getting a better idea of where we're at.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now for the two of you, you're first up, I think. You're slowed a little bit, but not much, by your injury, and you have a couple of people to work your way through.
Yep.
So I think you're going to be able to go to the Morgath. I mean, the people who are generous with their favors for a minor compensation.
Yeah, I know what it is.
And,
Right.
and basket weaving.
Yeah, that's right. Basket weaving on Thursdays.
Yes.
So, as a matter of fact, you'll be hiking along, and Tesney will bustle past you, and stop and look at you and say, "Well, there you are, grown up so nicely," and go on.
Thanks. Let's continue on.
We are talking about a fellow of strength 15, endurance 16, dexterity and agility of 15 each, voice of 13, and comeliness of 16.
Magic.
Damn.
Random
Yeah, I know.
Damn.
He's getting more. That second look that Oswin.
Oh,
Yeah, it's warranted.
Fair, yeah, exactly. So and your recent sort of adventures have sort of hardened you up a little bit. So you're definitely, like Fergal, are carrying yourself a little differently. So therefore, there you are. Are you going to look at?
Coming in for a hug.
Do you still have blood on you?
Don't we all?
I mean, like, physically, do you have some else blood currently on your hands? Because then I'm not hugging you.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not coming for a hug, I can tell
And,
you that.
yeah, and I guessing Hibrik might stand slightly next to me.
So yeah, it's a good question. I mean, if you go to this place, and now worshiping Morgoth is legal in this culture.
Yeah.
So therefore, it's not utterly secret. I think that there would be sort of a shrine-ish area that anybody can go to when and if they want. But as for where you've gone now, it is much more like an ordinary part of of an ordinary set of buildings.
Hmm.
So it's not exotic particularly. However, you may have wiped off a little bit, right, in order to be able to function. You're going to find him, right? Okay. So when you two begin to interact, you will see standing in the darkness, because he goes inside. If he does go inside, he won't be in the sunlight.
No.
So sort of standing back there in a slightly uncoordinated posture is Ivrik, standing silently, like really silently.
Do you notice him if he's like standing in the shadows? Would you even take notice of him at first?
He's not hiding.
Nobody could have just put him up by the wall in the shadows, I guess.
Would you want to?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I didn't know that.
No, sorry, but that might have been like keeping out of the way in the shadows a bit. So
in that case, it's an awareness check just to see if somebody's in there.
I don't notice anything. It's marginal failure.
Marginal failure means you're not fooled. You know, you're not convinced nobody is there.
No.
But on the other hand, you don't get any confirmation.
But he doesn't really. I guess he doesn't really breathe or moan or anything like that. So he should be just like piece of furniture.
Yeah.
Something might be there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not really gonna bother with it. I'm here to talk to you.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go.
Yeah.
Stepping out, and here is artwork.
Ah, welcome.
He definitely looks a little different.
Yeah. So, what's happened?
Everything.
Right. You're forgotten, right?
That's right.
Right, it's you. I forgot about that for a split second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was talking with Osquin, who's like really bright. And then you're like, oh yeah. Okay, go on. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
And has anything interesting happened lately?
One could say that.
Really?
Yeah. I had a visitor this morning.
How odd, so did I. Tell me about yours.
He was strong and aggressive and not breathing anymore.
Ah, that kind of visitor.
Yes. And yours? Still breathing?
Yes, surprisingly. Because our mutual acquaintance is last I saw was under my bed and is hungry.
Angel? Have you fed it?
I told it to feed at night. To go out and have some meals by itself. I trust it can handle itself at night. And it seemed to be agreeable on that.
Good. So, why are you here?
We need to make sure that neither of us talk stupidly about what happened before to others. Because then one or both of us will get in trouble.
What happened?
Good enough.
We only went for a stroll, didn't we?
Yes. And stick to that.
Yes, met some interesting people.
Yeah.
Then they started fighting, I think, with each other.
Yes, possibly. Remember, there was something happened. We ran away, right? Right.
Okay.
There might have been some fighting behind us, and then like, who knows exactly what happened on the way back. Like, we were both exhausted.
Sure.
Great.
I think I know what you're after.
Yeah. We don't talk about what happened. What happened to them, we don't know. And what happened on the way back, only we know, and we're not completely sure because we were tired. So keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, I was busy helping you out, getting back home. So,
yes,
yeah.
you were. No.
Anything else?
No, is that dried blood on your hands? I'm assuming that's the visitor. You might need to
I hardly noticed.
clean up before someone with higher morals visit.
Ah, good point. Yeah.
So, Harnmaster, I'm gonna go back and rest my injuries.